to own it. Just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Thank you for coming on the show today.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
You have done a lot of cool things. Explain this: jumping out of planes, diving. You have it's all in the Navy, right?
Yes, I joined the U.S. Navy in 1959 and got into explosive ordnance disposal, getting rid of unexploded ordnance. I used to jump out of planes, land in the water, and then go blow things up. We actually taught the SEALs how to be SEALs.
So things would blow up from the water?
Well, if somebody finds something, a piece of ordnance that could explode, then they call us, then we would respond, and then we would go get rid of it, blow it up in a safe place. I stationed there 13 years in Hawaii. There's a lot of leftover ordnance from the bombings and the leftovers. So people would call us and we'd respond, pick it up, and then go blow it up. Have fun. Big firecrackers.
Weren't there a lot of accidents? Some of your friends, never. You guys were that?
Well, in my 20 years of active duty, we lost 3 people. That was a long time ago. I was in the Navy from 59 to 82.
Was it from that job, though? Were they doing
they
with
were,
you?
Yeah.
So it was
in Vietnam, for example,
yeah.
I was there for 5 years, and we had 2 of my very good friends, but happened to be standing around a Viet Cong handmade piece of ordnance, 600 pounds of explosives, and when they went off, they just disappeared. They atomized.
Wow.
But that's a good way to go, because you don't have to feel anything or.
Oh my goodness! And you taught the SEALs how to be SEALs. Wow.
Basically.
I bet they don't like it when you say that, huh?
Well, that's all right. We did our job and they did theirs. They were the aggressive unit. We were the defensive unit. They would set up shots and blow things up and kill people and do their job. And they do a great job. And they're wonderful guys to go out and help people and save people. But our job was to save people by defensively getting rid of ordnance that could blow up. And that's how I was always healthy in the Navy. And after I retired in 1982, I've been retired for 40 years.
Oh, wow. That was around the time I was born.
That's right. Well, everybody I know is either could be my children or my grandchildren. My wife and I now, I have 5, my wife has 5 children, I have 7. So we have 7 children, 26 grandchildren, 17 great-grandchildren. And I'm trying to teach them to be healthy.
Well, so how did you guys meet? I know this is a segue story about.
Oh, that's another whole story.
Yeah, but so you're married to somebody else. And
I've been married 3 times.
So you guys became in the Brady Bunch together.
Yes, we did.
So when did you guys get married? How old were you then?
25 years ago for this wife.
Love that. Wow.
But I was one of the first bachelor fathers with my first 3 little girls. I had ages 2, 4, and 6 years old. 3 little girls to take care of, and I was the mom and the dad. And that's another story to write.
Wow, and being in the Navy, that is very.
But they traveled around with me. In fact, we ended up going to the Philippines, and it was really a great experience for them to be 3 little blue-eyed, blonde, beautiful little girls and be around the Filipinas, and we just loved the country, and we had a lot of fun.
When does your book come out?
Actually, we're doing it right within the next 30 days, 60 days.
I love that. I hope so, because this show is not going to do enough to dive into that.
Well, it's all about being an alkalarian, but that's just helped me promote what I'm doing, because I've always been teaching health and wellness, but I couldn't get anybody's attention. So what I've been focusing on is heart attacks. So I was a guy that never got sick, never took a drug, no aspirin. But then I took a sabbatical from 2007 to 2011, and I wanted, about 2009, I was upstairs working on this renovation of this old farmhouse I was working on, having fun. I had these funny things running down my arm, my fingertips started getting numb, and I started sweating. I'm going, those are symptoms of a heart attack.
You knew right away.
So, oh yeah, well, because I teach it. So I'm going downstairs and I asked my wife, I says, do you have any aspirin? She says, you don't take aspirin, what's wrong? I says, oh, nothing, I'm just having a heart attack. So we moved really quickly and went over to the base about 18 miles away. And on the way over there, the ambulance met us, and the guy was prepping me and taking blood and all this stuff, and he says, I'm going to put a nitroglycerin tablet under your tongue. And I says, nitroglycerin? That's what I used to use to blow things up with. How come you're putting it on my tongue? I didn't know medicine. I never had taken any drugs.
Right.
I didn't know that. But anyway, I did have a massive heart attack. They medevaced me up to Columbia after about 150 miles away. So the idea is within 4 hours after recognizing my symptoms, I had 2 stents in me. So I had no problem. I had any problem since. But then when you have something go wrong with you, you become the expert. So you study it and do the research, which I did. And it was ironic that my bedmate in the room I was sharing the room with, we were chatting and this and that and the other. And I says, well, what do you do? And he says, oh, I'm a cardiologist. I says, what? He says, oh, yeah, my associates put the stent in me. Now here so I got this doctor's, I can ask him all these questions. And it was fantastic. I was watching all the movies and all that. Then they give me this book that says, what's ahead? What do you do after a heart attack? And I read it. Oh, this is great information. Watched all the videos. And then then the next couple of days they were saying, well, I said, well, do you have a book that tells you what to do to prevent the heart attacks? And they said, no. And I said, well, I'm going to write one. And that's what is coming out next month.
Wow, okay.
How to prevent heart attacks.
So you have a lifestyle. A lot of people think it's a diet, but it's not really a diet. It's a lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
Explain this.
Well, a lifestyle has to do with what you literally live. Not living what somebody else tells you how to live, or this kind of diet and that kind of diet. Because diet means to eat. It doesn't mean to starve. And people say they're going to have a diet. Well,
And the word diet is in diet. So.
Yeah. a diet is a D-I-E with a T at the end.
Right.
Across, right? So that's a diet. But anyway, it's a lifestyle. And so I was exposed to a Dr. Mayer, M-A-Y-R, out of Austria. And he taught how to be an alkalarian for 70 years.
Wow.
And he would guarantee you that if you come to Austria and you had a challenge or a problem, you can pay him a whole bunch of money, and he said, I will cure you. Now, we can't use that word in the United States.
Right.
But in Austria, they can say that. In fact, the doctor that took over the Mayer Institute over there, he says it's called the alkaline cure. And that's one of my books I use in my reference and in my teachers in my classes. And so that, and there's another book that's recently come out, that was about 2014. 2018, a book came out called Get Off Your Acid by Dr. Jeffrey. I used to have a joke about that. I'd say, for health's sake, get off your acid. But anyway.
Okay, is alkaline water anything with the alkaline diet? Okay, that was not a dumb question. That's what I was thinking about. Okay,
alkaline water. No, alkaline water is one of them, very important one. Alkaline, but there's something before water. What do you think was alkaline before you should be doing for your body, before water?
What should we be doing for that?
Air.
True, okay.
Breathe.
You have to breathe.
You do it in yoga, you do it in all these different exercises. You're learning how to breathe properly. You want to get oxygen in there. You need oxygen, but you also need hydrogen. You also need H2O. And there's all kind of new technologies coming out. So I teach alkaline air, how to breathe, alkaline water, what to drink, alkaline food, what to eat, and then alkaline mindset, and supplements. So you actually have 5 pillars of being an alkalarian. And those are all listed in my book. And there are lots of stories, personal stories, but I'm the walking, talking example that this works. And even in my family, I'm so close to your family, you really can't tell them what to do anymore. I mean, you couldn't tell them what to do when they're teenagers anyway. But at least I want to be the example for what I talk.
Okay, so the unfun part, what are we not supposed to have?
Say again?
The stuff we're not supposed to have. In a nutshell, I know you go through it, but...
I don't get into that too much. I'll just put 2 general categories. Carbonated drinks and granulated sugar.
Okay.
Those are the 2 biggies. That will put you into acid, below the acid level.
Okay.
The pH scale goes from 1 to 14, 7's in the middle. If you're below 7, you're acidic. If you're above 7, you're alkaline. So I ask the question I'd ask everybody, what is your personal pH?
Good question.
And people don't know, generally.
Right.
Yeah. But if you had a swimming pool, you have to know what the pH of the pool is to swim correctly. So they put chemicals and things in there to keep the pH right. And if you had a garden where you wanted organic vegetables, you'd know what the soil pH was.
Correct. That makes sense.
If you know what your personal pH is, that is the answer. I know what my personal pH is. So the answer to you, that I ask you the question, is 7.365. And the way you remember that, there's 7 days in a week and 365 days in a year.
Okay.
Your personal pH is 7.365. Now your blood, my blood, everybody's blood in this studio, everybody's blood in the world, your blood is 7.365 and cannot change. If your blood changes 0.2 of a point, you can go into a coma and die.
Wow.
And all the doctors are trying to do is get that blood pH back up to 7.365 so they can be alive. Now, if you have children, well, if anybody has a child, the amniotic fluid in a mother's womb is 7.365. So we all lived in our mother's womb at 7.365. And when we came out as brand new little, perfect little babies, our bodies was 7.365. If you can keep your body at that same level as your blood, you can't get sick.
Wow.
Bottom line. And that's what the alkaline lifestyle is all about. You teach people how to get rid of the acid, put alkaline things in your alkaline mouth, and then I have courses and studies and seminars and training and all this on all of that.
So what have you noticed? I mean, is it something that's catching on more here in the U.S.?
More and more, you'll see a lot of advertising going on now. You used to buy bottled water, right? But now you can buy all this alkaline water.
That I've noticed. That's what I asked.
You're going to see more and more and more of it. But they're just making a lot of money off of that. I mean, you're paying $10, $12 a gallon for these containers of water. You can get devices for your home, and you can get a gallon of water for 15 cents.
So you teach us kind of how to live it in a way that's affordable for us.
Exactly. And doing things that you can, instead of paying medical bills and medical installments of insurance and all this other stuff, invest in some few things, $5, $10 a day. Now that's a lot of money to some people. $300 a month, $10 a day is a lot of money. But they have to pay their insurance, medical insurance, before they go, oh, I can't do your program because I'll lose my insurance. Well, but you can lose your life, But anyway, it's a real program. It works. Everybody, one of my clients, when they did it completely, I got a 90-day challenge. Just go 90 days with no acidic, and you balance your pH. And some people it takes a little bit longer, but you automatically lose weight. You have clarity. When I started, I wore glasses. I was 2.75 with glasses. 4 years on the program, I now have 20/20 vision.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Every cell in your body can regenerate if it has the right alkaline tools. And that's what Dr. Mayer taught in Austria. And that's what I'm now teaching, except I'm not charging hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm just charging a moderate thing to keep up my expenses, and I want to share it. Walk the talk and pay it forward. I'm all about paying it forward.
I love that. And then what about the pH balance? How are people testing that after?
Well, you can test it with reagent, and you can put a strip in your mouth and you have it with your saliva, or urination will tell you what your pH, but that's just an indicator. But after doing that for many, many years, you find out that everybody is acidic, bottom line. We're just all acidic. But we're alkaline by design, but acidic by function. Your mouth's alkaline, your small intestine is, your mouth is alkaline, your stomach is acidic functioning, your small intestine is alkaline, and your large intestine is acidic. So that's the way it works. And that's all in my courses, and it will be in my book.
So what's your website, and can we email you?
Well, my website is that I've always had my eye on my health, and I have myionhealth.com, I-O-N, myionhealth.com.
Well, that is easy to write. I love cleverness. I love that.
And also on my website, I have a QR code, and you can also just scan that in. That'll go right to my website. And I'm offering I'm offering free 15-minute heart attack prevention protocol. And that's just go to the website and you can sign up and you get this free 15-minute interview. And then from that, and then also for this special program and this promotion right now, I'm offering the first 10 people that sign up will get a 1-hour consultation of my whole program. Has a pretty high value to it now, but I'm offering that to the first 10 people that sign up.
Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
You're so welcome. And I want you to be an alkalarian. And remember, the bottom line is alkaline.
Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so tell our audience who you are and what you do.
My name is Jenny Ferguson, and I am an elder care specialist, specializing in placement mostly, but how you're going to pay for it, what steps are next, and just kind of hand-holding through that really difficult time.
That's something like everybody in our era is like dealing with right now.
We all know somebody that we love that's getting older, and once their health starts declining, it's really a hard thing to go through.
I know, and it sounds bad to say this, but I'm going to say it because it's the truth. Everyone's living longer. And so, like, my mom, is like almost 70, and then her mom was almost 100 and alive, and she just gotten home this year. She's in her late 90s. And so it's like, it never... Yeah, this is a very serious, very real topic.
It's very real. It affects us all, and you have really good genes, so you're gonna want to plan too.
Right. Okay, so tell us, because this is a journey that you are very, very personal and dear to your heart because you've dealt with this. So tell us your story. So
I was living my life. My background was I was a professional ice skater.
Cool.
And I started coaching skating after I was done touring. So
was I here locally?
Yeah, so I grew up here locally in Fresno, and then left obviously to skate on tour. So that's the professional part. And then I came back and started coaching. I got my real estate license, and I spent decades, coaching and doing real estate. And I loved both of it. I had my 2 little girls. Life was great. And my mom passed away actually, 12 years prior to my dad's health declining. And so it was just me and him those last, few years. And when his health started declining, I think I was in denial, and I know he was in more denial than I was even, and you just, it's your dad, it's your, or your mom, but they're just so larger than life, and that's, he was my rock. So when I realized his health was declining and he wasn't doing so well, I went and stayed with him, and that was very eye-opening on the level of assistance and care he really needed. After a pretty short time, I couldn't provide enough help and care. I couldn't help him in the way he needed anymore. That's a hard thing to go through. You just feel
guilty.
So much
even
guilt.
Though you shouldn't, but you can't help it.
I know. I get phone calls all the time, and I'm like, there's such a large feeling of guilt that is resting on your shoulders. And so I, really did have to make that difficult decision of what next. And I had no idea. I knew nothing about elder care. I knew nothing about healthcare in general. So I was as uninformed as you could be, and just started navigating through this process and feeling overwhelmed. Really, you're sad, you're stressed out, you're frustrated, you're scared. This is your parent, and you want what's best for them. And so it's a very lonely time. I felt alone, even though I had friends and family that were supportive. I was the one making the decisions.
So you didn't have siblings, or you were the oldest? Oh,
no,
wow.
I was my dad's only child, so it was...
Everything fell on you.
This was me and my decisions. Wow. And you know how, people are, you make decisions, and then people sometimes are like, I don't know if that's the right decision. We're like, well, this is what I'm going to have to do. This is what we're doing.
That's hard.
So it is. It's a tough position to be in. I feel like when I'm working with clients, it takes me right back, like hearing the distress in their voice, and a lot of times they'll cry on the phone, kind of just explaining what's going on, and it really takes me right back to 5 years ago when I was in that position. And in fact, I was at Yosemite yesterday, and I'm sitting there enjoying the view, and all of a sudden, I got teary-eyed, and I realized the last time I was in Yosemite was during that time. My dad's health had declined, and I was, I think, right in the process of finding an assisted living home, and I went there to just decompress and breathe for a couple hours before getting back to it. And sitting there yesterday thinking about how much my life has changed since that day in 5 years, this whole new trajectory. And so I went from, coaching and being a mom and doing real estate and living my life to this really major life-changing decision that, we did find an assisted living. I felt like I picked the right place. I quickly realized I didn't. So,
oh no,
and that's a tough thing too. You're like, oh my gosh, but I really love the person I talked to, but the person I talked to wasn't the person that was providing care.
It's almost like the movie Happy Gilmore.
Right.
Have you seen that?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Right. The grandma. Yes. It really is kind of like that. So my dad, and he was so reluctant. I'm his baby, and we were as close as you could be. And he would call his siblings and say, "Don't tell Jenny, but you got to get me out of here."
Oh no.
And then to me, he was like, "Well, I understand."
Oh my goodness.
And then my uncles and aunts would call me and they're like, "Well, your dad called." I'm like, "Don't tell me. I don't want to know." It's emotional. It's hard enough as it is.
Did you get him out of there?
So I had a plan, like 2 weeks in, and I'm like, you know what? Yes, let's figure this out. It's really stressful, that the cost of it, what to do with the house, it's just, there's a lot that goes into it.
And how you get the money right away to do it, because the house isn't sold right away. And he has to go. Okay.
Exactly. So those are things that, I laid awake at night, stressed out over, and knowing how badly he wanted to go home. And I thought, you know what, I can do a few little tweaks to his house, some minor adjustments, and get somebody I know to open up an assisted living in our home, in his home. And so I ran that by him, and at first he was like, I don't think I want people living in my home. I'm like, so you'd rather be here? And he just kind of laughed and said, good point, okay, let's do this. So I kind of told him my plan with, you have to be like ramps and that kind of stuff.
It was his own home?
It was his home,
I don't even want to know how you figured out how to afford all that.
And so I just thought, okay, let's do this. So I had this plan. I started it, and unfortunately he passed away, like within 30 days of going there. I know. So as devastated as I was, I just really, it like kind of fanned my flame even more to create a place where I would have wanted him. And it was like, it just became this mission. I had this, desire, and I don't know why, because like I said, I didn't know anything about elder care or health care. But since now I wasn't under like a time, kind of like this needs to happen now, I thought, okay, well, I want to do it my way. I went to LA and I went to school and I became a certified administrator, and I took my state test, and then I like really transformed the house into an assisted living home. And this is where I grew up. This is where my mom lived. Like, this is my dad's home, and so it was just very special. I got my administrator license, opened up the care home. So I had this little 6-bed assisted living care home.
Wow!
I know, it was so sweet, and I think, like, without the experience, the passion was there, the love was there, and then I had this wealth of knowledge of what I would have wanted for my dad. And that, at the end, is really what's important, to having, I think, a really lovely care home that takes great care of elderly people. Is how would I want my own dad to be treated? How would I want this home to feel? So that is what I did, and it took me away from coaching. It took me away from real estate, but I loved it. Like, I really just fell in love with it. Who would have thought?
It's your whole new life now.
A whole new life. So I owned the care home and sold it just fairly recently for reasons I won't go into, but to wonderful people that, 2 guys that
had your vision.
Yeah, exactly. I was
That's
very
good.
picky on selling it because I wanted, it's my baby and it's my house, it's my house. And so, and there's still a little bench out front that's dedicated to my mom and dad. And it's just,
That's impressive.
It's so great. And I found myself at these crossroads. Like, do I go back to my old life, like real estate and coaching? And I just thought, God, I don't think so. I mean, this is where my heart is. I couldn't imagine not helping families go through that time in their life and that transition. And so I, you know, how the universe works, I got a job offer right actually before I sold the care home, right before I sold it, from Heinz Hospice. And I accepted that job, and for the year that I worked there, I learned so much. It was really eye-opening, and just how the elder care system works, from skilled nursing facilities, hospitals, discharges, assisted living, end-of-life care. It really taught me all of it. And I decided, though, what was missing was I wasn't working with families very much. I wasn't.
So you want to actually help.
I wanted
people
to work,
can be hands-on and call you and talk.
Exactly. That's what filled my heart and soul. You know, that is what felt like I was excited at the thought every day to talk to families and help them
make decisions.
Yeah, I mean, make decisions and just to listen. You know, to hear them and to feel their fear and to be able to just give them a hug or, you know, an encouraging word, or just to let them know I understand. I thought that was, you know, that was really what I wanted the rest of my life to be like. So I decided to open up my own business, and so I specialize in placement, which takes me right back to 5 years ago when I was going through this. But because I've picked up so much through, you know, so many sides of it, owning an assisted living. So I know that side. I know the business side of it. I know the Title 22 laws and regulations side of it. I know what to look for when we walk into a home. I know the end of life care, the discharge planning. You know, there's so many.
Then you worked on the corporate level with the Heinz.
Exactly. So there's just so many areas now that I feel like, oh my gosh, I really. For the first time, I know this sounds, you know, I did real estate for so long, and it was a great job, but I never had this kind of fulfillment. You know, I never had this kind of warm and fuzzy feeling behind it. So that is, I feel like what was such a sad time in my life was really these like stepping stones into the greatest position I could be in. Like, this is exactly where I'm meant to be right now. I feel that.
And you became the person that you needed 5 years ago.
Exactly. I really, I would have loved to have a me back then.
Right.
And so even like through this process, through placement, I would obviously, I'm working with families, and but I'm also working with hospitals and with skilled nursing facilities when they're having, you know, patients discharged that can't go home. And the number one question that I was getting from like staff and administrators was, can you help with Medi-Cal? Like, can you help these patients that are here that have nowhere to go, and they don't have anybody maybe that's advocating for them or to help them.
Wow.
And they have no money. You know, they don't have, assisted living can be expensive, you know, $5,000 a month, private pay. Not that many people have that kind of money. And so
even getting the right bed and everything, sometimes it doesn't pay. I know a little bit. And
right.
So wow.
There's a lot of, you know, there's
a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's so many programs out there that people just don't know about. So I saw the need of, you know, being able to, like, how can I help in that area? This is a very serious need, and it is I believe it's the future of like elder care, because people are living longer, like you said. People are, you know, maybe they're outliving their finances, and they don't expect, nobody ever expects to go into an assisted living, or, you know,
yeah,
to
it's not something we think about.
No, you just don't. And it's kind of like, you know, when I was a kid, I'd go to the pool and not put sunscreen on. I never thought about skin cancer.
Right.
It was just like, no, that's for old people. I feel like we all think that about these assisted living homes. So I did this deep dive and learned all about programs, what's available for the elderly community, and started actually implementing and helping with the hospitals and the skilled nursing facilities, helping these patients that can't afford assisted living to apply for a program that does pay for almost all of it. Yeah, almost all of it.
Wow.
And that has been like equally as, I mean, maybe more fulfilling, because I mean, just even recently I helped a gentleman that had been in a skilled nursing facility for 6 years, didn't need to be there. He had nowhere else to go.
Wow.
Like he was at calling bingo, you know, I mean, just this guy that fell, had a hard time, went to skilled nursing for rehab and never could leave because he had nowhere to go. So to be able to help somebody like that go into a home setting that is just so much nicer and quieter, and you know, he has a backyard, and I mean, just the tears and the hugs, and for people like that don't think that's an option for them, has been really rewarding.
So where do we get a hold of you if we were going through that?
Well, I'll put my email address up.
Let's email you.
Okay, so yeah, email me. It's Jenny, JENNY .CASCC, and that my company is California Senior Care Consulting. So Jenny jenny.cascc@gmail.com. And for anybody watching the show, I would love to offer them a free consultation on how to get assisted living elder care paid for, how to help you out.
I love that.
I know. I mean, really, it can save about $60,000 a year.
Thank you so much for coming on my show today,
Thank you so
Jenny.
much for having me. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on my show today.
Well, thank you for having me.
All the way from
Sparkle.
Canada.
Yes.
So you've been a doctor for 55 years?
Yes. I was 23 when I started practicing medicine. And I practiced for all this time. I loved it. And when about 12 years before I finished my practice, I started to just treat pain because I felt there was a tremendous need, and I'd had 37 years of low back pain, and I thought, I want to free people from pain. And actually, doctors would send me their worst cases, the kinds that they couldn't relieve the pain, and I would think of ways to sort of solutions to their pain problems. What was the cause? And I would treat the cause. And when I did that, 80% of them got better. And so that's what I love it. I mean, you take somebody who's been in pain for 40 years and you take it away. Wow!
That's incredible.
It's not incredible. It's just a question of properly examining the patient, knowing your anatomy, knowing your biochemistry, knowing what's behind, what's causing the pain. Once you know that, you can fix, well, at least 80% of all severe pain.
So what do you think a lot of people get misdiagnosed? Is that why so many people are living in pain?
Like for instance, so many people with low back pain get told that they have degenerative disc disease, sciatica, and but in fact, 90% of all low back pain, you know what doctors call it? Non-specific. Do you know why they call it non-specific? Is they don't know what it's coming from. And the reason they don't know, and that the reason the treatments are so inappropriate, like surgery, for instance, is that they forget about the most important joints that cause pain in the back. These joints here in the back. And the other thing is that most doctors prescribe medications for pain, which are not necessary. I've invented a cream that shuts down the body's main pain receptor. And what I was doing was I was injecting mannitol, which is a natural sweetener. It's plant-derived. And I was injecting it around the nerves that were going to painful areas. And even before the needle was out of the skin, the pain was gone. And this pharmacist was, I had a lot of doctors come in and observe what I was doing because what I was doing was working.
Wow.
And so this pharmacist was looking at me and she said, you know, like I've never seen pain go away so fast and so completely. But people don't like injections. Why don't we make it into a cream? I said, sure, let's make it into a cream. And we had to try 16 base creams before we found one that allowed the mannitol to penetrate through the skin and reach the pain nerves. And once we found that cream, I started testing it on my patients because all I was doing was treating people with severe chronic pain. And so I had these 235 patients that I would give a container of cream to and a questionnaire, you know, like the date, the time, how bad is your pain from 0 to 10 before you put on the cream, how bad is it 30 minutes later, how long does it take to work, and how long does it last. So I've got this data on 289 different pain conditions. And the average pain relief was 53%. Okay, it's not 100%. But did you know that the average pain relief for narcotics is 36%?
That makes sense.
Did you know that the average pain relief for anti-inflammatories, you know, Voltaren, Advil, is 23%? Did you know that the average pain relief for Tylenol is 13%? So 53% is not bad. And so I started, we decided to form a company and to start manufacturing the cream. And now we started selling it.
I'm going to say, where is it? I want to buy some.
Okay. Well, this is it.
Wow.
It's called QR Cream.
Where can we get this?
Well, you can get it on my website, or you can get it from Amazon.
QR cream.
Yeah. QR Quick Relief Pain
Okay.
Cream.
What about the shots? You still diagnose this? I've always heard that it's quicker to get a shot than with cream. Do people still get that as an option or not really?
Well, when COVID came, I was 77 years old, and I'm diabetic, and I thought, age 77 with diabetes, my chances of surviving this are not very good, and so I stopped working. But I want to do another research. I want to do a research project. I had written papers on. There's all ways of repairing the body that don't require surgery and don't require big drugs and so on. Like you can fix shoulders with something called prolotherapy. So I wrote a paper on it's injecting sugar where these bloodless ligaments and tendons attach on the richly vascularized bone, because inside your bone marrow are all the blood cells. So there's a huge amount of blood vessels where those those blood cells are going to, they have to go and get the blood cells. And at the same time, so I was attaching, I was injecting a sugar solution where these bloodless ligaments, because to heal a wound, you need inflammation. When you cut yourself, it gets all red around where you cut yourself. Why? Because you have to grow new blood vessels to where you're broken so that the repair cells can get there. And when the repair cells get there, they deposit collagen, scar tissue. But you can't grow new blood vessels where there aren't any. But if you create an injury where these guys attach on this blood vessel-rich covering of the bone, then you can grow new blood vessels and bring these repair cells into those bloodless ligaments and deposit collagen, and that's what they're made of. So you can repair any joint with just injections of sugar. And so I proved that in that paper. Well, this doctor came in, this patient came in, and she'd been referred by a doctor because she had a really, really sore shoulder. And she came in, she had plaque psoriasis all over her head.
Oh my goodness.
She was covered in plaque psoriasis and no hair. She came in like this.
Oh my goodness.
Scratching her head. And I said, well, but this hurts your shoulder. If your shoulders are going to get injured when you do that. And I said, well, I can fix your shoulders, but if you keep scratching, it's going to come back. And she said, doctor, I can't stop. And I said, well, what have you tried? And she said, I've tried everything. I've had this for 15 years. And
wow.
And so I said, well, why don't you try my cream? So she said, doctor, it's not going to work. I said, just try it. It's not going to cost you anything. So she puts it on, and 3 minutes later, her itch is gone. And exactly. So I said, I gave her the usual little container and the questionnaire, and I said, come back in a month. She comes back in a month. She's got this much hair all over her head, no psoriasis, and, she wanted more cream, obviously. But so I know that this is the best way to take away itch.
So it's not just pain, it's also itch.
It's also itch.
Oh my goodness.
It shuts down the pain. Well, I did a research project on that. What I did was I put some hot pepper cream on people's upper lip. My patients wanted more of this cream and said, okay, you're going to help me with an experiment. So I put this hot pepper cream on their upper lip, and when the burning reached 8 out of 10, I removed the hot pepper cream, and on one side I put the base cream, and on the other side the cream with the mannitol. But I didn't know what I was putting on. I mean, I was given a pink Q-tip for the right and a blue for the left, and then every minute they had to write how much pain, how much burning they had on each side of their upper lip. And on the mannitol side, the burning went like this. And on the other side, it went like that. And by 3 minutes, most people knew which side was the mannitol. And by 10 minutes, everybody knew the mannitol side because they didn't have any pain on the mannitol side. And
wow.
It was still burning on the left. But that hot pepper receptor is the body's main pain, itch, and inflammation receptor on the nerves. So the mannitol shuts down that pain, itch, and inflammation. And that's why I think it works so well. So that's what I'm selling right now.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm definitely going to buy some. And then what is your website?
My website is qrcream.com. But I have a special offer for those who are watching you right now. And that special offer is that if they email me at qrcream3@gmail.com, QRCREAM 3@gmail.com. I will send, and they have to tell me where they're hurting, because I've found all kinds of solutions for pain in different parts of the body. Because, hey, all I did for 12 years was treat these different kinds of pain. And if they email me there, then I will make sure that they can access the exact information that they need for their kind of pain. So that's what I'm going to do.
Thank you so much. And then tell us a little bit about your husband, because your husband, he was nominated for a Nobel Prize
in economics, but he'd written a book on that particular subject, because people used to think that there was an exchange between countries. One country was selling wheat and another country was selling cars, and they would exchange cars for wheat. But my husband said, no, that's not the way it works. One country will sell one kind of car, and the other country will sell another kind of car. And, then there's the amount that they exchange is called, my husband's is her Grubel. It's called the Grubel-Lloyd Index. Okay, so he invented that. He wrote a book on it. And then this other guy essentially decided to, because my husband likes to write so people understand, and this other guy wrote a mathematical model based on what he'd written, and he's the guy who got the Nobel Prize. And I think the thing is, he's a left-winger and my husband's a right-winger.
Wow.
And the Nobel people are more left-wing.
What a story.
So...
What a family. Oh my goodness. I hope you write a book. We're going to go to your website to get the cream, but...
I'm writing a book right now. And it's a book on how to relieve your own low back pain. You don't need a doctor, you don't need a physiotherapist, you don't need a chiropractor. You can fix your own low back pain. And that's a Canadian tube, so it looks different from the US tube.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I want to buy this one because I opened it.
Yeah.
Can I buy this one, or I have to go to the website?
No, you can buy that one if you want it.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you, Sparkle, for interviewing me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on my show today.
Thank you, Sparkle, so much for having me.
So we're talking about something I really know nothing about, actually. So you're really going to enlighten me here. Tell me about AI.
Okay. Think about, like, if you could have an employee that never complained, never slept, and never asked for a paycheck, what would you say?
Yeah, sign me up.
That's AI. What's so fun about AI is there's thousands and thousands of tools. There's tools that people know of, the ChatGPT, which just came out, and that's basically something where you can go in and you can tell it what you want. So I can say, create a funnel email program for me, targeting TV hosts to get my PR customers or clients onto their television shows.
That's huge.
It's huge. And that's what AI can do. And there are tools that make it even easier. And that's one of the things that I love doing, is teaching people what tools are out there and how to use the tools.
I mean, this could save people a lot of money, because people are hiring this person and that person to do everything for them.
It saves so much money. And one of the things that people will ask me all the time is, but what's going to happen to our jobs? You know, if AI takes over. And yes, AI will take over a lot. But the key is learning AI, because the attorney who understands AI is going to outperform the attorney that doesn't understand AI. Or, you know, the school teacher that understands AI is going to be able to understand how the kids are using AI, because AI is really like the calculator was years ago, when kids stopped knowing how to do multiplication or doing any of that. And with AI, they're not going to be able to write, but they're going to have to learn how to prompt and ask AI for what they want. So you need to know little tips and tricks on how to use AI.
That was like its own techniques, its own language, its own universe. Oh my goodness.
And
okay, how did you get started in this? I'm sorry.
Oh my God, that's a funny story. Okay, I have a product that I invented. It's called Bodabra. It's like abracadabra, you have a Bodabra bow. Anybody can make hand-tied bows using the Bodabra. And one of the things that I realized, it's so cool. And one of the things I realized was when I was hiring people to do my social media, I didn't understand what I was paying them for. So I had no idea about the return on investment. So then I went and started learning everything I could learn about social media. And about 4 years ago, I was 58 at the time, I went to these the social media, and they had conferences on AI. And I thought, not relevant, not interested, not happening.
Yeah, it's very unique. Okay.
Exactly. And I mean, you're talking to someone who will not have a Google Nest in her house, will not have Alexa in my house.
Yeah, like,
it's too intrusive. Yeah. But then 2 years ago, I started saying, okay, I need to learn about this because people are saying, oh, we're using AI for our videos, we're using it for our social media posting, we're using it to create all kinds of things. And I thought, all right, I'm going to dive in. I'm a technophobe. I have no idea what I'm getting into. And what's so cool is you don't need any technology knowledge. You need to know what programs to use.
And prompts.
And the prompts, they call it prompt engineering. You know what that means? It means asking ChatGPT or asking the program what you want. So it's like asking an employee to create something, but this employee never gets sick.
In the most simplest way possible. Or just like when you're talking, what do you call it? Like when you call one of those numbers and it's like a person like, and describe what you want in like 4 words or less, or how we get better sort of problem. You have to kind of know, you can't just say.
Right. And that's AI.
Okay.
And another way people use AI is like when you go to somebody's website and you'll have a little chat bot pop up. That's AI, and it's machine learning. It learns from all the questions that it's asked. It can learn the answers. Like it might not know the answer, but then it'll be programmed in there. So it keeps learning, and the more it learns, the more it progresses.
So your job is you teach people that want to learn.
That want to learn how to use AI and what tools are appropriate for them.
And what AI they should get.
Exactly.
So if I'm starting a business on this, you'll be like that. Okay.
And one of the most fun things is, one of the things that I was really into also was teaching kids how to the arts and crafts for kids, because they don't get it in school anymore, and unless they have a crafty aunt or a crafty parent, they're not learning. And I listen to people and always make me cringe. Make sure you color in the lines. It's like, no, Picasso's mother never told him to color in the lines. So one of the things that I did is I'm mentoring a little 8-year-old girl. So I pulled out ChatGPT and I let her say, let's write a story. And so she gave me her name and her best friend's name. And I said, okay, let's pick a magical character to be in the story. And we chose a unicorn. And then I said, what subject do you hate in school? If you could have a magical unicorn do one subject for you. And she said math. So it was a magical math unicorn. And we prompted in like ideas, and it came up with this wonderful story. And she had so much fun doing it, and yet it was time that she and I could spend together. And the idea behind doing arts and crafts is it builds self-esteem. It builds, like, wow, I can do that. And with creating things on AI, it's the same thing. And you can create pictures.
Oh, I bet they love that.
Yeah.
They get spend hours. That's so cool.
Yeah, and it's a great thing for grandma to do on Zoom with the kids.
So that's another thing that you teach. That is so cool.
It's so much fun. And you can even use AI to plan out your vacation. Where you want to go, or you have 5 things in your cupboard and you want to know what you can make for the week. You can ask AI, I have these ingredients, can you please come up with something for me to make? And the other thing about AI that's really cool is that in 2021, September 2021, before that, they programmed 10% of all the internet into ChatGPT. So it has all of that knowledge, all of the language knowledge, and now it's available to the average person to be able to use it. And there's a million tools that you can use that will help in different areas of AI.
So how much money did you dump when you were trying to figure out the social media and someone doing all that for the company initially?
A lot, because I didn't know what I was paying for. But then when I learned it, then I started teaching small businesses like myself so that they didn't have to throw the money away like I did. And that's kind of what I'm doing with AI.
Wow, I love that. Okay, so now the bow thing. I'm sorry, we're switching gears here.
That's okay.
It could teach anyone how to make a bow with like what? Okay, so like this and this, like with anything or with certain
Actually, you'd be
materials?
amazed what well, with materials, or I can take these
like
and I
this.
can put them, I can take these and I can put them into the Bodabra, and then I can make a bow on top of it, and then you have like a cute little bow for your door or for wreaths. We have literally on our Bodabra YouTube channel, we have over 800 how-to videos.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the stuff you can do. For weddings, for hair bows, for home decor, for
I've
wreath
seen some
making.
amazing things, so that would be really cool to learn how to make it. So it's a Bodabra. Okay, so that's a separate entity. You're doing AI, you're doing the Bodabra. So what's a YouTube channel? You just said Bodabra.
It's a Bodabra. It's YouTube at YouTube.com at Bodabra.
Do we buy something, or we just have?
Well, that you would buy the Bodabra at Bodabra.com.
And you invented that.
Yeah. So it's really cool.
What made you think of? Okay, so explain.
Well,
I wish
okay.
you had it right here. Okay.
I know, and I'm so mad at myself for not bringing it.
Okay.
But I mean, I was an AI model, and then my AI assistant didn't tell me to bring it. So basically what happened was I had an infomercial teaching small, like stay-at-home moms, basically was who I was targeting, how to start a gift basket business.
And I love making gift baskets. This is why I'm excited.
It's so much fun, huh? Exactly. And then what happened was I couldn't make a bow. And I would go to conferences and teach people how to take their small retail stores and target it towards corporate. But I was watching, and all the bow making like classes that were going on were standing room only, and people still couldn't make a bow when they finished. So I thought, you know what? There's bow makers out there, so I'm going to go buy them. I couldn't make any of them work. So I thought, wow, these sell. What if we have one that actually works? And so we created a device that like holds the ribbon, and it's really a cool thing. And it lets literally anybody can make a bow. In fact, I was at a trade show years ago, and I was demoing, and there was a guy standing right in front of me, like with his back to me. And I said, sir, you want to see my demo? He goes, oh no, I'm just here with my wife and she's over there. I go, okay, I bet you your trip, all of your expenses to come to this trade show, that I can show you how to make a bow. And he like lit up and he made a bow.
Wow,
Yeah, it was
that
cool.
is so cool. Okay, so right now you still have the Bodabra thing going on.
Of course.
But then now you also train people on the side how to utilize AI for their companies,
Exactly.
with kids or anything they want to do.
Exactly. And right now, we have a QR code that they can look at the QR code, or they can go to sandysandler.com and they can get a free course on the basics of AI. So I can walk them through what kind of AIs are out there and how they can use them for things as simple as writing a story with your child.
And I love it because it's almost like AI for dummies. Like you really simplify everything. So
Well, I needed it AI for dummies
So
for
you
me.
created the AI
Exactly.
Wow, then that's very easy. SandySandler.com.
Yes.
We have the SS, so that's
Exactly.
easy to remember. Oh my goodness. This is so cool. And then we can email. So if we need individual guidance, we can email you.
Of course, yeah. And my email is on the QR code.
Oh my gosh.
So, it's perfect.
Anybody watching the show? Okay, so do we have anything on the website for anybody watching the show, or is it for the AR or for the Bodabra?
Well, for the Bodabra, we do every Monday. We do a half an hour Facebook Live, and we give and every Monday during the live we pick a winner and they get a free roll of ribbon.
Okay, so where do we sign up for that?
Facebook Bodabra.
Oh my gosh, you have thought of everything.
It's too much stuff. I'm probably confusing everybody.
No, you really have thought of everything. So you went from the business of teaching businesses how to go from, you said, going from corporate to
Teaching businesses to take their little retail stores
And
and
making it
sell it to corporate. Like sell product to corporate.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm 62 now, so I've had a lot of years to do all of that.
And how long have the Bodabra been around?
Since 1998, we got our patent.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I am so excited about this. I'm surprised that I hadn't been on Shark Tank. I'm like, that is like the biggest, like the coolest invention I've heard of in like a long.
It's really fun.
Probably the coolest invention I've heard of on the show like that. I mean, that's an
thank
actual like
you.
thing that.
Yeah, and it's really easy, and we have, like I said, we have so many videos, so we can show you all different kinds of projects.
That's the greatest thing too, is that you have that and you're not just buying something and trying to figure it out yourself.
Right, and like on our website, I think it's $19.99 or something like that. So for a $19.99 product, you're getting over 800 how-to videos.
Do people send you stuff that they've created with your bodega
Oh,
that
yeah.
you're shocked about?
They send us pictures. We actually also have a Facebook group with I think we have about 4,000 members in our Facebook group, and it's free to join.
I want to join it.
You should. And all of our it's mostly women in there, but all of them share like their wreaths and their bows and their projects. So it's really fun.
Well, I know a lot of quilters, and I would think that they would want to add some bows to their quilts.
Maybe, yeah.
Because a lot of my clients, I'm a personal trainer, a lot of my clients quilt. And so I'm be like, hey, I can't wait to show. It makes a good gift, huh?
Oh, it's a great gift, especially the holidays. Right before the holiday season for gift wrapping. It's for everything. Yeah.
The gift wrap, you gift wrap the bow that you're going to gift.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on my show today, Sandy.
Thank you so much for having me. This is really fun.
Everybody get the Bodabra and AI. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. AI, Bodabra.
No, it's fun.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh, I must confess, dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you, and I don't want your loving, I don't want to be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a mystery.